so that it will be a good information for all of us, which can be taken to the needy people. Thank you. Now we can start, Dr. Venkatachalapathy.
Thank you, sir, for the nice and the generous introduction for this August gathering. Is it my voice audible, sir?
Yes, excellent, good.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for confirmation, sir. And respected colleagues and dear friends, I am very happy to participate in this wonderful forum to share my views about the food processing opportunities and incentives.
Can share your slides?
Yes. Is it visible, sir?
Yet to come. Yeah, started.
Okay. So today, as Dr. Vishwan sir told, I'll be covering about the food processing opportunities and incentives. And it's time limited, as Dr. Sai told, only for 10 to 15 minutes. So it will be very tough to cover both opportunities and incentives. To the maximum possible, I try to give a glimpse about this to these people so that the colleagues can share this information to the needy people. So food processing, all of you are...
Sorry to exaggerate. The reason why I told 10 to 15 minutes, I think I want you to come to the point directly, because all are experts in this team. Here in this group, we have all our experts, all our professionals. So I think you can make it probably.
Yes, definitely. That's why I have compressed the presentation to times. So all of us know that food processing is the sunrising sector. Even during this pandemic time, for the past 2 years, most of the industries have almost come to a standstill, whereas the agriculture and the food processing goes in tandem to feed us, and even the export is going on, and then they have come up in a very nice way. So it's there is no doubt it is a sunrising sector, and it's a high growth and high profit sector. So it's immense potential for value addition. And as compared to the other developed countries, we are processing only very less percentage of our agriculture produce and horticulture produce, or even veterinary and animal produce to a very little extent. And even then, is food processing now 32% of the country's total food market is processed. So by food processing, we can solve some of the issues totally related to the rural area. It assures employment opportunities to the rural people, because the normally food processing industries comes in the rural area, and it reduced migration of youth from rural to urban and increased the economy rate in rural area and reduced urban pressure. When the people movement is reduced from the rural to urban, definitely this will happen. We'll come up the highlights. So India is ranked almost first and second in most of the commodities, mainly global food production, first in the milk production, and second in the horticulture produce, or first in the spice, and number one in the bovine population. These are some of the sector highlights, and the growth levers are almost, there is a strong domestic demand due to our demographic population, as well as the growing income, increasing income, disposable income, and then the both husband and wife are working, so there is a need for processed food. So a lot of opportunities in the export also. So, and also government is taking this lead to give a lot of policy support and incentives to the entrepreneurs. And if you look at the food processing opportunities, definitely we can say we can group as 5 or 6 sectors. One is the dairy sector. So here, if we take up the technology and equipment, suppliers have a lot of opportunities here. So new technology, cold chain, innovation, packaging, new product development for cattle feed, and veterinary care technology and cattle diagnostics. Some of the things for technology and equipment. For the product wise, you can say value-added dairy products like cheese, smoothies, flavored milk, custard, because we are number one in the milk production. So almost it is surplus now. So during the surplus, we have to convert it into value-added products, and a lot of export market is there. So this is the opportunity in the dairy sector. And the next one is the poultry and meat sector. So India is having a lot of buoyant population. So here, as technology and equipment suppliers, There is a lot of new technology in meat poultry processing. Abattoirs is coming up. There are separate schemes in the government of India for setting up of the abattoirs, and then cold chain also here, and then food testing laboratories. This is very, very important in this particular sector because it's highly perishable commodities. So the safety and shelf life is very, very important. So food testing labs plays major role, and government is giving a lot of incentives for this also. And then products wise, a lot of frozen and chilled products, ready to eat, ready to cook, and then even Indian ethnic foods nowadays picking up very nicely. And then egg powder plants, and then hatcheries. These are some of the things which is opportunities we look at it. We look at the next sector is the fruits and vegetable processing sector, and it is also one of the most perishable commodities. So here also the cold chain, pack houses, and then a lot of opportunities in the logistics and the end product storage and point of retail also. And then packaging, it's a very upcoming new technologies are available for packaging of fruits, vegetables, or even in cartons, and then modified atmospheres. A lot of opportunities are in this one, and food testing laboratories also very much important. And then product wise, nowadays the nutraceuticals and health foods are coming up. A lot of importance is there in the market, not only in India, the overseas market also. A lot of convenience foods are up to come up, and then beverages, even like traditional foods like nimbu pani, coconut water, and even functional beverages also. A lot of importance is there. And then processed foods for the ice cream and the yogurt industries, that also one of the opportunities in this particular fruits and vegetable industry. And then coming to the durables like food grains, that is compared to the perishables, there is not much wastage in the food grains, but we are producing more, and it is even a 1% loss in the total value chain will be a big loss compared to the other commodities here. And here also nowadays, apart from our regular staple like rice and wheat, and nowadays the superfoods are, we can say, millets, gaining a lot of importance, and people are growing, as well as the people are even buying and consuming millets and millet-based products. Rotates a lot of importance, and so a lot of opportunities there in the millet-based value-added products, and then for machinery for the development of processing of this type of millets. And then fisheries are concerned, India is having a lot of coastal line. So we are producing almost 13.4 million metric tons during 1890, and then so in the frozen farm, a lot of value-added products can be developed. And government is also giving a lot of the incentives to in this particular sector. And here also we can go for ready to cook, ready to eat, canned and the frozen goods are important products from the fisheries. And apart from these sectors, another sector is the whole food retail sector. This is one of the sector which we have seen in the pandemic time, where the most of the hotels are everywhere closed. So at that time, the processed foods having a lot of importance during the first wave or the second wave time. So government has taken every effort, even during the lockdown, due to the movement of trucks, and then when the logistics were stopped. But government of India took a lot of steps to movement of the food products without any hindrance, and then everywhere the foods reach. So because they estimate in 2023 it will reach 827 billion USD. So that is the future prospects of this particular food retail in India. So it has a CAGR of 9.23%. So it is very, very high in the compared to the other industries. So these are the little glimpse about the opportunities in the food processing sector. Since the time is very limited, I am moving to some of the government incentives. This is the latest development. And also, I'm not going to talk about all the schemes. I'll highlight some of the schemes, and I'll be talking more about the latest PMFME scheme. So the Sampada scheme is one of the very important flagship company from the Ministry of Food Processing Industries. It is a scheme for agro-marine processing and development of agro-processing clusters. It has an outlay of around 6,000 crores for the 5-year plan. In this particular Sampada scheme, we are having this 8 plans, 8 schemes are there. One is mega food parks and the integrated cold chain and value addition infrastructure, creation and expansion of food processing preservation capacities, infrastructure for agro-processing clusters, creation of backward and forward linkages, food safety and quality assurance, human resources and institutions, operation greens. So these are some of the important schemes running under this, and this is for mainly for the major food companies as well as the medium also. But due to this schemes, only the big players are benefited, and the small and the very small company micro enterprises are not benefited. So government has understood this, and they have come up with other schemes for this. And recently, this production-linked incentive scheme for food processing industries was introduced by the Government of India, along with the other sectors. Also, totally 10 sectors government introduced during this Atmanirbhar Bharat scheme about the incentive production-linked incentive scheme. It has an outlay of 10,900 crores. It is for the big companies mainly. The objectives will be to support the companies which have stipulated minimum sales and willing to make minimum stipulated investment for expansion, for processing capacity and branding abroad to incentivize the emergence of strong Indian brands. The idea is to, though some of the companies having good market in the Indian domestic, whereas they are not known in the abroad or overseas market. So government is creating this particular scheme to create this Indian brands worldwide, maybe as a collective or maybe individual companies. So it will have a creation of global food manufacturing champions, and then to select Indian brand of food products for global visibility, and then increase employment opportunities of the off-farm jobs through this development. And then ultimately it has to give the remunerative prices for the farm produce and the higher income to the farmers. So in these particular schemes, mainly the sourcing should be from the Indian farmers. That is the big thing. They can export, even 100% export, they can go for it. Whereas the raw material should be sourced from the Indian market so that the farmers can be benefited. And coming to the next which point I am going to share about this Pradhan Mantri formalization of micro food processing enterprises, because IIFPT, Indian Institute of Food Processing Technology, is closely involved in this particular implementation of the scheme as a knowledge partner, and NIFTM and IIFPT are playing major role in this. And it is picking up very nicely in the past 1 year. It has made big impact in the small industry sector. So normally in India, there are a lot of unorganized food processing sector. Almost for the past so many years, from the Department of Food Processing Industries to the upgradation of Ministry of Food Processing Industries, so far the government was concentrating on the big players so that they can invest more and they can give a lot of employment opportunities and they can consume more raw materials like that. But it has come up nicely, but though it has not make a big impact. So whereas the 25 lakh units almost in India, they are almost contributing 74% of the employment in the food processing sector. And these are 66% of these units are in rural areas, and about 80% of them are family based. And it needs a lot of hand-holding for these companies. And then these units largely fall within the category of micro enterprises. And also these units face a lot of challenges which limit their performance and the growth. So these challenges include lack of access to the modern technology and equipment, training, access to institutional credit, lack of basic awareness and quality control of products, and lack of branding and marketing skills. So this is the area where the government concentrate on these particular points, and this scheme was rolled out. And through this, the unorganized food processing sector contributes much less in terms of value addition and output despite its huge potential. So here, with the background, this scheme was rolled out with these following 5 objectives. Here, through this scheme, there will be increased access to the credit mainly. Normally, the micro food processing entrepreneurs, they are having a big lagging behind in the access to the credit. So through this, they will be having good access, and then even the FPOs, self-help groups, and then cooperatives. And then through this scheme, increase success for the enterprises to professional and technical support. Mainly, sometimes they will make the product, but they are not able to market it, or they are not able to brand it. These are the issues faced with them. Through this, they can be made it. And then the strengthening of the institutes. So research and training in the food processing sector. This is also through this IIFPT and the midterm and other state level institutions are ICR, CSR institutions, state agriculture university, mainly the agriculture engineering colleges are playing major role in this particular thing. And then increase access to the common services like common processing facility, laboratory, storage, and all those things. And then through this, around 2 lakh enterprises in the unorganized sector will be brought into the formal framework, and they will be registered, and they will be having a GST, and they will have a Aadhaar registration, and then they will follow the FSSAI guidelines. Through this, total safety network will be linked to the food processing sector.
Dr. Venkatachalapathy,
yes,
request you to conclude it within a minute.
Yes, sir. Yes,
please.
Thank you, sir. So, as I told, it is a All India centrally sponsored scheme. So, it approaches one district, one product approach, and it is having an outlay of 10,000 crores. And then, say, sharing pattern is Government of India 90%, the states 10%, whereas in the Union Territory it is 60-40. And then 10% for, there are allotments for Northeastern states, SST, like that. And pattern of assistance, here the thing is a lot of handholding support by district resources, preparation of DPR, bank loans, skill and entrepreneurship training, then support for capital investment, mainly as I told, the registration for FSSAI, GST, Aadhaar, branding and marketing. And it is a combined scheme, so the both state and central have a major role. So for the FPOs and the self-help groups, it will be 35% credit linked capital investment, and then also common infrastructure also 35%. And there will be for marketing and branding, there will be 50% grant will be given. And for self-help groups, each member will be a 40,000 rupees up to 40,000. Suppose if there are more, it will be a more essential. It is governed by the national level and then state level, district level committees are there. And for applying, you can visit the website for more information. And these are some of the issues in this.
Okay.
Thank you.
I thank you. Thank you very much. I think very detailed. Can you please close the presentation? Thank you.